Okay, when I got looking at that video, I realized I didn't stand back far enough for you to really see a good panoramic view of all this and all the valves. That little stick in the ground is just a little prop right now. I'll probably clean that up and put a couple of metal poles or something just to push up on that. Doesn't really need it, but I'd feel better if I had it so that those blue filters are not weighing that whole thing down and pushing back toward the wall. That's pretty heavy with all three of those blue containers full of water. And although it's not pushing against the wall now, I did put a board back there so that wouldn't happen. But you can see I got a lot of valves. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I counted them all. Yeah, 9. 9 valves. Isn't that crazy? Well, like I say, most people would never need to do that much. And, you know, we all need to do what we want, what works for us. And that doesn't mean it works for everybody else. Most of what I do doesn't work for everybody else. But that's what it looks like after the finished product from seeing what happened, what was in there before. And, you know, I've got a lot of that information there that is a little hard to see and understand because I'm so close and confined once I'm inside there. I don't think that goes down anymore. Maybe it goes down a little bit. That might help if I was to do it like that, so I might have to go back and redo those videos so that when I'm talking about this stuff, I'm not so close, and that might help because I was so close you really couldn't see what was going on here. So maybe I will consider to, you know, do some of this again. In fact, now that I'm here and I got the time, let's see. Here is the pass-through or the pre-filter. Okay, you dump all that water out by using that hose. I was using a bucket. The bucket was too much of a hassle, so I got a hose, and now I can stand there with a hose and I can just stick it out the door here, shoot it out this direction, you know, 10 or 15 feet, and water all the plants. So that works really well. And I can isolate everything and say, hey, I want to use just this running the whole house while I'm working on these filters and this UV. Okay? And so that's pretty much what I did. I came over here and I said this right here is the input into this filter system. Water comes from outside the main valve to the house through there. Comes this direction. It comes down here. And then it goes down here. The valves, again, if they're lined up with the pipes, it's on. If they're not lined up with the pipes, the valve is off. So it comes down here, comes this way. It cannot go that way because I've got that turned off. If it did, it would go back out to the house, and that's on the way out to the house. Okay, so it has to come this way. It comes down here, gets filtered, comes this direction. I can clean that filter with this. This is on, so the water has to go back this way. It comes back up here. This valve is on. It has to go that way. And then it goes in there into all those filters. And there's 2 filters and a carbon block over there. So it can't go back this way because I've got that turned off. And if it did go back that way, well, let's see. It actually would be coming in this way and come this way and this way if I wanted to use just that and have this isolated off. So again, the reason I'm doing that is because we've got a lot of people that need this water on all the time. You know, we've got multiple businesses going on here at my place. We've got rentals going on. And nobody wants to come in and go, hey, what's going on? Why is the water going to be off for 3 hours? Well, now it never has to be off at all, because if I need to work on this stage and that stage on the UV filter, I can turn all that off with these valves, and I can have the water come in through here, down through here, down this way here, open this up, go right back into the house, and that's the only thing that I'm using for a filter until I get all this other stuff cleaned and worked on and everything else. So I can be off for hours with all that still on in the house. Or if I want this off to service it, then I turn these valves off here and here. I turn the right valves on so it comes this way, this way, this way, down and in here this way. This one would be off. And that way I've got water going through all this and also the UV filter coming up there and back this direction. Okay, while this is being serviced. That's the weak component right there that has to be played around with once a week. And if I was going to have to spend that much time screwing around with it, I definitely didn't want to be turning the water off in the whole house all the time, messing around with this thing. But the way I've got it now, not a problem. I can just crank that hose out there and I can take that filter off and away we go. So, you know, what happens here is you got a valve here that turns off. You got a valve up here that turns off. That isolates the UV filter. You turn this one on, right now it's off, and water will come out this way, this way, this way, and back to the house while you're servicing this. So you know, basically you can see that there is total ability to be able to crank different things on and off. And again, this is not something most people are going to want to do because most people don't have all the stuff going on that I do. But boy, did I have a physical, you know, limitation to be able to do this. And that's why I gave up on the designs sitting down at my desk and said, okay, we're just going to start a little at a time. We're going to build this thing up here first, pre-filter. Figure out how to get those angles to work on that, you know, the PEX pipe along with the shark bite, you know, joints and valves. Because, you know, as you can see, there's a lot of twists and turns here that had to be done to get it into this small confined space. And certainly looks a lot better than it did before, and it's working really, really good. In fact, we had low pressure in the house with the water, and the filters were all clogging up, and it was a big mess, and I ripped it all out. I put all this stuff back in, and now we've got more pressure than we ever had before. So we're really in good shape. I'll splice this into the rest of what was going on there with the YouTube stuff. I know I was like way too close on some of that, and you couldn't really see any of this stuff. But I think this video here will be a lot easier to see what's going on. Okay, thanks.